My lords, we are most grateful. My lords, there is a matter in respect of a health situation affecting a potential witness, which we have indicated to my learned friends on the other side we would like to have considered by your lordships in camera, if it is possible, because of the confidentiality concerns. And we would be able to provide some details to your lordships accordingly, if that is permissible to your lordships. As we speak, we have been in touch not only with the potential witness, but with his medical, and that's why I said that because of the confidentiality, if you allow us to grant you full information, then you exercise your discretion as you wish to direct us, and we can proceed accordingly. We're not, if your lordships will not entertain the matter, we will abide by your powers. Let me be clear that what we agreed is that we would put it before you in detail in chambers. We have not, yes, that's it. Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lords, exactly what the situation is that this morning, learned counsel for the app. No, I'm not, no, my lord. No, my lords, I was not going to go into any details. I was just going to say exactly what he told us this morning. What he told us this morning was that there's an issue that he wants to raise with the court in chambers. He doesn't want to take us by surprise. So he was just mentioning exactly that there's an issue. That's all.
About the witness?
Yes.
All right. the court has gone into chambers to listen to a matter that was proposed by lead counsel for the petitioner, Mr. Chachu Chikata. And before then, of course, there was that application by the petitioner's lawyers to be allowed by the court to inspect some documents from the EC throughout the morning. Mr. Chachu Chikata, lead counsel for the petitioner, was making a case to be allowed to, as it were, inspect those documents from the EC. But again, there was objection from lawyers of the respondents, the first respondent and the second respondent. And after that, the court went into recess to take a decision. When they arrived, the decision was that the EC, the petitioner, would not be allowed to inspect the EC's documents. This is by way of summary, but for the details, I will be joined by my colleague Edward Nyakun, who has been in court since morning to give us the details. So, Edward, what is clear is that throughout the morning, we have been considering, we've been seeing in court arguments by all sides. The petitioner's lawyers try to advance an argument in support of their application to be allowed to inspect certain documents from the EC. We heard the opposition and the objection from the two respondents, the first and second respondents, and we've also seen and heard of the decision the court arrived at, which is that they will not allow the application to proceed. But you were in court, you have the details. Exactly what happened?
Yes, the petitioner yesterday, as we came to court, filed a motion for an inspection of documents in the possession of the EC because according to Mr. Chachu Chikata, the counsel for the petitioner, the declaration that was made on the 9th of December, those numbers that were put out there, to them, there's a need for those numbers to be looked at again, because to them, according to them, as of now, they are not certain of the exact figures that were used to declare the winner of the election. So they are pleading or praying the court to make available those documents. Right. And then he cited issues like fairness. So he quoted Article 1913 of the 19th Constitution that in pursuant of fairness, it would be good for the court to allow them to have access to those documents. Then he also talked about the fact that during the 2013 election petition, though JSC Ajinya indicated that the carbon copy of whatever they have is just same as what is there. But the key thing Mr. Chachu Chikata raised was that in that instance, they had come to court with some numbers and some carbon copies, but they have not come to court with any carbon copy because they don't have the figures. So they are praying the court to release those, ask the EC to release those documents to them. Then came in the counsel for the first respondent, Justice Mr. Amanuvo, and he indicated that one, the time, he talked about the time should be, according to him, the time should be within 21 days. But we're in the 34th day of this trial, and therefore that time has elapsed for them to be asking for these documents. Then he also indicated that the argument being put forward by Mr. Chikata doesn't hold, in the sense that the 2013 one is a clear example. And then came in Mr. Akoto-Ampao, the counsel for the second respondent, also emphasizing that the burden of persuasion, these are the words he used, and burden of proof, lies on the petitioner's counsel. And therefore, to him, he used the words, they are trying to conjure away that responsibility, which one of the judges, I think the Chief Justice, drew his attention to, but he insisted that, look, what he's trying to say is in line. So with this back and forth argument, the court went to chambers and came back and declared unanimously that what transpired in 2013, and again, they will not be able to produce enough evidence to warrant this demand for these documents, and therefore
the court also made reference to the fact that the petitioner already has custody of what he is asking for.
Yes. So it says that that's what they say. Use the word. It doesn't warrant the demand for that because already the carbon copy. And if my memory serves me right, he cited Article 166 of 1975 NRCD that having a carbon copy is as good as the original, and therefore.
But again, when the Chief Justice was reading out the ruling on this very particular matter, he also did indicate that, but in cases where the authenticity of the copy is in question, then you can demand for the originals. In this case, where the petitioner's lawyers not doubting the authenticity of the copies, and that's why probably they were insisting to see the originals.
Yeah, that is a law for you. If you remember, the Chief Justice indicated when reading the ruling, said that look, from the polling station right down to where the collation was done, he had access to all these things, and so he is looking forward to something as a counsel for the petitioner. That is his aim. He has something behind at the back of his mind he wants to pursue. So it is within his remit to come to court and insist. So it's up to the opponent to also stand on their grounds to argue their case. And then the judges sitting there as arbiters will go into their chambers and look at both sides of the argument and then align it with the law and come out with their decision as they've done now. So every one of them has full knowledge of what is there, but it is a hard to put out your argument and buttress with certain fact or laws to support the argument, and then they go on.
So the decision was arrived at, and none of the parties, particularly the petitioner, did not give any reservations about that decision, but went on to talk about other matters that have led to the judges going back into chambers with the lead counsels. What issue did Mr. Chatuchika raise after the decision was arrived at?
He indicated that there's an issue that needs to be looked at, but it must be done in camera. That is not within the public space. So it's pleading that they go into chambers and consider, and then more so, he spoke a little bit about the health condition of someone that was setting off. And so that is how come I believe that they have gone to their chambers. So we're waiting for them, because interestingly, this issue about application for inspection of documents, motion it took more than an hour when they went to the service. And so it's been a very long day, because ideally we're expecting that the EC chairperson will be in the box today. But this is how the law is. As we go on, things come up. There's always development along the way. So it makes it interesting.
Exactly, it makes it interesting. And so this is just by way of summarizing for you what has been happening in court today, but also to break down the issues for those of our viewers who have little understanding of what the legal jargons are and what the legal systems and how they operate. So again, just to summarize it for you, the motion that was applied for by the lawyers for the petitioner, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, former president of Ghana, for the court to allow them to inspect some documents by the EC has been again dismissed by the court. And the court's one of the main reasons the court assigned for the decision was the fact that those documents are already in the possession of the petitioner in terms of the copies, and that until or that the petitioner did not satisfy the court that those documents that are in its possession are not authentic enough, and basically that's what's happening in court. But even as we speak, the court is meeting the legal counsels in chambers over a matter that we have yet to confirm exactly what it is, because it's in chambers. As soon as we get the details also, we will let you have it. We'll go back to the studio where our experts are standing by to continue breaking down the issues even further for your understanding. After here, we must just go and